Before we begin, viewer discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment purposes. What happens when Hollywood's toughest man gets clowned on live TV and decides he's had enough? The lights of ABC studios blaze like 1,000 flashbulbs. The audience screams. The cameras glide, and the familiar late-night theme plays over a polished smile. But tonight feels different. Beneath the laughter, the air is tense, electric, dangerous. Cut to a flash of times. Rocky times pounding the heavy bag. Then times Rambo. Asterisk. Face streaked with dirt and defiance. Back to Jimmy Kimmel, standing center stage, ready with his monologue, smug, confident, the king of late-night comedy. The crowd's laughter swells, but there's a chill beneath the applause. This isn't a movie. This is real life, and it's about to get ugly fast. Sylvester Stallone, the man who turned grit into gold, who bled for every role, who made the word underdog mean something again. For decades, he's been Hollywood's iron-willed survivor, the guy who never quits, who never stays down. And now, after years away from the late-night circuit, he's finally agreed to sit across from Kimmel to talk about times the family Stallone times. And times Tulsa King asterisk. Fans can't believe it. A rare chance to see the legend open up. Laugh. Share a little truth. The internet lights up with anticipation. Then silence. Just hours before airtime, the booking vanishes. No explanation, no warning. Behind the scenes, whispers start flying. Something went down. Maybe politics. Maybe ego. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel himself didn't want the champ in his ring. What a bet it is the mood shifts. Excitement turns into suspicion, and the smell of drama fills the air. By the time the show goes live, everyone's watching not for laughs, but for blood. Kimmel steps up to the mic, grinding wide, ready to drop a few lines that'll change everything. He thinks it's just another punchline, another easy laugh at Stallone's expense. E-S-W-I. When you come for a man like Sylvester Stallone, the guy who built his empire on pain, perseverance, and pride, you'd better land your shot. Otherwise, you're the one flat on the mat. When Kimmel tried to swing at Stallone, he didn't realize he was about to get knocked out career-wise. The day begins like a Hollywood fairy tale. Stallone's team buzzes around his Beverly Hills home. Makeup chairs spin, wardrobe racks lined with black-on-black suits, his assistant double-checking cue cards for the interview. A dozen calls come in from a BC's crew. Lighting confirmed. Cameras locked. Limo on standby. This is supposed to be Times night. Stallone's rare return to late-night TV. He's in great spirits, cracking jokes between takes for promo photos. Haven't done this in years, he says, with that familiar smirk. Half Rocky, half philosopher. His publicist nods, relieved. The internet heats up. Hashtags like #Stallone Kimmel trend. YouTube channels post top 5 things Stallone might reveal tonight. Fans call it an event. A legend, stepping back into the spotlight not for a movie, but as himself. Then, out of nowhere, the phones stop buzzing. No updates, no confirmation. Just silence. The room feels heavier, the way it does before a storm. Stallone's assistant scrolls her phone, expression shifting. Then a call finally comes from the network. Short, cold, corporate. We're sorry. The segment's been cancelled. A long pause. Cancelled 4 times. What asterisk? The team stares, confused. Stallone's rep steps aside, lowers his voice, and makes another call. Come on. What's going on over there? On the other end, a nervous producer whispers, off the record. Wasn't US. Kimmel made the call. The words hang like smoke. Kimmel says, scheduling? The producer adds quickly, trying to soften the blow. Stallone's rep fires back, voice rising. Then why is his next guest a TikTok influencer? Don't tell me there's no room for Sylvester frickin' Stallone. By the call's end, everyone feels this isn't business. It's personal. Insider whispers leak across the internet before the hour is over. Tweets, Reddit threads, YouTube comments all say the same thing. Kimmel didn't like Stallone's politics. He didn't like where Sly stood on certain issues. It wasn't timing. It was taking a side. The irony is brutal. Stallone, who built his name on unity, perseverance, and respect, just got benched for being himself. The studio's silence makes it worse. ABC releases no statement, no explanation, nothing. Just a quiet eraser of the night that was supposed to be. Meanwhile, fans connect the dots. One Redditor posts, "Stallone never cancels. Some things." Up. Another replies, "Kimmel's been political for years. Guess he finally went too far." Comments spread like wildfire. YouTube creators pick up the scent. Thumbnails with Stallone's face. Titles like asterisk, "Kimmel crossed the wrong guy." Asterisk, "Flood the algorithm." In Los Angeles, Stallone sits quietly in his home office. He's not angry, not just disappointed. He flips through the notes he'd prepared for the show stories about times. The family Stallone asterisk, funny behind the scenes. Moments from times, Tulsa King asterisk. A few heartfelt lines about legacy and family, the kind of stuff fans love. The kind of stuff late-night TV used to celebrate asterisk. Now, it feels like a setup he never saw coming. That night, while Kimmel takes the stage and cracks another round of safe, self-congratulatory jokes, the energy online is different. The audience may be laughing in the studio, but the internet isn't amused. The betrayal feels sharp, deliberate, calculated. By morning, the phrase starts circulating through fan circles and entertainment blogs alike. One line sums up what people are feeling. The invite wasn't just canceled, it was weaponized. The crowd cheers as the theme music blares through the studio. Jimmy Kimmel steps onto the stage, flashing that practiced smirk, the one that says he owns the room. He straightens his jacket, waits for the applause to fade, then leans into the mic with a half laugh. "So Stallone couldn't make it tonight," he says, pacing the floor. Apparently, he's too busy lifting dumbbells and maybe some conspiracy theories. The audience laughs, but it's not the same kind of laughter. It's scattered. Uneasy, the kind that happens when people aren't sure if they're supposed to find it funny. Kimmel presses on anyway. He's got that glint in his eye, a mix of mischief and arrogance, and he's not backing off. "You know, I love Sly," he continues, "but the last time I saw that much testosterone, it came in a can labeled energy drink." Another forced laugh from the audience. Some chuckle out of habit. Others exchange glances. Even the band doesn't quite know when to cue the next beat. Kimmel grins through the discomfort. He's feeling bold, untouchable, maybe even righteous. After all, it's his stage. But what he doesn't realize is the cameras are capturing more than a monologue. They're catching a moment of career freefall in real time. By the second joke, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. He shifts tone, pretending to joke about Stallone's retro worldview, tossing out lines that sound less like comedy and more like cheap shots. He's still living in the 80s, Kimmel quips. Back when muscles mattered and people thought times Rocky 4 times ended the Cold War. A few laughs ripple through the room, thin and awkward. Someone coughs. Someone mutters, "Oof." Cut to living rooms across America. Fans watching the live broadcast, remote in and eyebrows furrowed. One man in Philadelphia shakes his head. "You don't do that to Stallone," he says quietly. Another viewer tweets, mid-show, "Disrespecting Stallone. That's career suicide." A minute later, another post pops up. "Bro really thought he could roast Rocky and walk away." Within minutes, Twitter is ablaze. Instagram stories flood with clips of the monologue. YouTube channels upload reaction videos. Before the show even ends, Stallone's massive, loyal, global fan base rallies like an army. Hashtag respect Stallone, and hashtag cancel Kimmel takeoff. Behind the scenes, the ABC control room buzzes. Producers glance at each other, whispering. They know something's wrong. The laughter doesn't sound right. The rhythm of the show is off. Kimmel keeps talking, oblivious, cracking another dig. This time a boat. Stallone's love for cowboy hats and opinions that belong in the Wild West. The audience laughs again, but it sounds nervous, brittle. Then it happens. The camera pans across the crowd, catching a fan in the front row, shaking her head in disbelief. That split-second reaction becomes a viral GIF within an hour. The caption reads asterisk, when the joke stops being funny and starts being petty asterisk. By midnight, the storm is raging. Comment sections explode. This isn't comedy, one viewer writes. It's bitterness, disguised as humor. Another adds, Stallone's been inspiring people for 40 years. Kimmel's been tearing people down for 15. Critics chime in before sunrise. Variety calls it a tone-deaf attempt at humor that landed flat. The Wrap labels it. Independent YouTube commentators describe it as career self-sabotage live on national TV. Entertainment podcasts dissect the moment. It wasn't funny. One host says it was smug, like he forgot who he was talking about. Meanwhile, Stallone stays silent. Not a word, no tweet, no statement, no response. That silence says more than any clapback could. It's the kind of quiet that echoes the calm before a storm everyone knows is coming. By morning, the clip hits millions of views across platforms. TikTok said it spliced Kimmel's smirk next to Stallone running up the Philadelphia steps in Times Rocky asterisk. The contrast is brutal. One man built on authenticity, the other drowning in sarcasm. Fans rally harder. Memes spread faster. With every share, every angry comment, the narrative shifts. The internet doesn't forget. This time, it has a new villain. By sunrise, the internet is on fire. What started as a few angry tweets becomes a digital uprising. Hashtags #respect Stallone and #cancel Kimmel trend for hours straight, plastered across every platform from Twitter to TikTok. It's not just fans anymore. It's everyone, celebrities, influencers, even casual viewers are chiming in. Stallone has become the symbol of something bigger. Respect, legacy, authenticity. Meanwhile, Kimmel suddenly looks like the face of everything people hate about Hollywood. Memes start dropping like punches in a heavyweight match. One of the first goes viral instantly. A split screen. On one side, Stallone and Times, Rocky for asterisk, sweat flying as he trains in the snow, pure determination in his eyes. On the other, Kimmel under the studio lights, sweating for real, face twisted mid. The caption hits like a body blow asterisk. One fights for legacy, the other fights for ratings. Within hours, the image hits millions of views. Another meme shows Stallone raising his fists in victory from Times. Rocky asterisk, with text reading asterisk. You can't cancel respect. It's brutal. It's poetic. And it spreads like wildfire. Meanwhile, inside ABC headquarters, chaos. Emails fly. Meetings are called at dawn. Every department scrambles for answers. Executives stare at the latest analytics. Faces pale. Overnight, the numbers 4 times Jimmy Kimmel Live asterisk have cratered not. A small dip. Viewership is down. Sponsors are jittery. And social media sentiment charts are a bloodbath. An insider leaks a quote to the press. Before lunch, we're in free fall. The sponsors are nervous asterisk. That single line becomes a headline across entertainment sites within hours. Commentators and journalists can practically smell blood in the water. YouTube talk shows go live to break it down in real time. This is what happens when you confuse politics for comedy. One host says, you picked the wrong fight, and the internet picks you apart. 4 years, late-night TV has been losing ground to independent creators, podcasters, people speaking directly to their audiences. Now, it's collapsing under its own weight. Kimmel's segment becomes the perfect example. Arrogance disguised as humor. Corporate cynicism wrapped in a joke. Even casual viewers who aren't Stallone fans admitted felt off. Mean, personal, the kind of bitterness that sticks. Twitter threads turn into essays. Essays turn into op-eds. Media outlets publish think pieces faster than they can fact-check them. Is late-night TV dying? Reads one headline. Another says, Jimmy Kimmel just gave us the blueprint for how to lose an audience. The tone is merciless. A few die-hard defenders try to justify it. It's just comedy, they argue. But the internet isn't buying it. The clips don't lie. The delivery wasn't funny. It was a smooth. It didn't feel like a joke, it felt like a jab. Viewers aren't laughing anymore. They're tired of being talked down to. Across Reddit, users post threads dissecting every second of the monologue, time-stamped by time. One top comment reads, asterisk. This isn't late night anymore. It's late career, asterisk. Another adds asterisk. He roasted himself harder than he roasted Stallone, asterisk. Thousands upvote. In agreement. Behind closed doors, ABC's PR team drafts statements, deletes them, rewrites them. No version sounds right. They can't apologize without admitting fault. But they can't ignore it either. Every move feels like stepping on a landmine. Kimmel, publicly silent, is reportedly furious behind the scenes, blaming online mobs for overreacting, but even his staff can see it. This isn't an overreaction. It's a reckoning. For Stallone, it's poetic justice. He doesn't have to say a word. His fans are speaking for him louder, prouder, unstoppable. Every meme, every post, every comment drives the message deeper into pop culture's bloodstream. Authenticity wins. Pettiness loses dot. By the week's end, analysts are already calling it one of the biggest PR backfires in late-night history. Ratings continue to drop. Sponsors quietly pull back. That smug grin from Kimmel's monologue now looks like a mask cracking under pressure. In trying to take down Stallone, Kimmel exposed his own cracks. By the weekend, ABC is in full-blown crisis mode. The network's hallways feel less like television headquarters and more like the aftermath of a bomb scare. Executives shuffle between emergency meetings, clutching coffee cups and talking in whispers, as if the walls might be listening. Everyone is scrambling for one thing: damage control. Calls start going out to Stallone's camp before sunrise. They don't just want to apologize, they want to beg. We can make this right, one senior executive says, voice tight with nerves. We're prepared to offer him complete creative freedom if he comes back on the show. No restrictions, no pre-approved topics. Whatever he wants. It's the kind of offer ABC never gives. Desperation drips from every word. They even float the idea of future collaborations. Maybe a Stallone-produced special, a documentary partnership, something to make the bad press vanish. Behind the polished tone and legal phrasing, everyone knows the truth. This isn't about respect. It's about survival. Stallone's team listens quietly. No shouting, no dramatic hang-ups, no threats. Just a cold, measured silence. Then, a day later, a statement lands short, brutal, and final. We're not interested in PR stunts. It reads, respect isn't something you negotiate. Those 12 words hit harder than any speech. Social media goes wild again, this time in admiration. Fans flood the comments with applause emojis and quotes from Time's Rocky Balboa. One viral post sums it up perfectly. They don't want forgiveness. They want ratings. Sly saw right through it. Inside ABC, panic turns to dread. The boardroom becomes a war room. Every new report brings worse news. Another sponsor, nervous. Another guest canceling. Another headline, twisting the knife. The late-night show that once pulled millions is now radioactive. Producers start calling backup guests, hoping to fill the empty slots left behind, but even A-listers hesitate. One celebrity's publicist bluntly says, "We're going to pass. Don't want to get dragged into that mess." By Monday, it's clear the network's golden boy is losing his shine. Viewers are tuning out in droves. Advertisers are demanding brand safety guarantees. The Kimmel team is drowning in negative press. Every meeting feels the same exhausted executives, tossing around buzzwords like rebranding, realignment, and strategic reset. None of it fixes the real problem. Nobody trusts them anymore. An insider leaks a quote that spreads faster than the apology itself. If Stallone won't forgive us, maybe the audience won't either. That line says it all. The audience isn't just mad they're done. You can't insult a legend and then expect a handshake to make it all go away. Even this US social media accounts try to play nice, posting generic messages about appreciating all artists and voices, but the replies are merciless. Too little, too late. One fan writes. Another adds, you can't fake respect with hash. Through it all, Stallone stays quiet. No interviews, no follow-ups, no victory laps, just silence. The kind that speaks louder than any PR spin. He's already moved on. While ABC's left trying to sweep up the ashes of its own arrogance, you can feel the shift in the air. The power dynamic is completely reversed. The network that once dictated who mattered in Hollywood is now begging for relevance from the man it tried to humiliate. The truth hangs heavy in every boardroom, every inbox, every panicked phone call. You can't patch a broken bridge with fake smiles. Not long ago, Jimmy Kimmel ruled late night like a king sitting on a velvet throne of applause and studio lights. Every night, millions tuned in for his smirk, his monologue, his jokes that danced on the edge of arrogance and charm. He was the guy who could make or break Hollywood reputations with a single punchline. But now, that empire is cracking. The laughs are thinner, the claps shorter, and the cameras catch something the audience can feel. The energy's gone. Ratings tell the story no spin doctor can fix. Viewership 4 times Jimmy Kimmel Live * isn't just slipping, it's free-falling. The graphs look like ski slopes. Sharp, sudden, irreversible. Even the most loyal fans are tuning out, tired of being lectured instead of entertained. Kimmel once promised comedy, but what viewers are getting now feels like homework. One viewer tweets what everyone is thinking. I came for jokes, not a sermon. Every night feels heavier. Punchlines are replaced with political commentary. Laughter drowned out by Kimmel's own moralizing. Viewers used to escape their day watching him. Now they're being reminded of everything they were trying to forget. Kimmel's not running a talk show anymore, one critic writes. He's running a therapy session for his own opinions. Meanwhile, his competition thrives by doing the exact opposite. Jimmy Fallon's show, all games and goofy celebrity moments, looks lighter, fresher, more fun. No lectures, no politics, just pure entertainment. Fallon throws pies, plays charades, sings karaoke with pop stars, and people love it. It's simple. It's escapism, and it works. Then there's Greg Gutfeld, the wild card no one in mainstream TV saw coming. His show, Gutfeld *, built on unscripted humor and raw conversations, starts pulling record ratings. The irony stings. A late-night underdog on cable outdrawing the Disney-backed powerhouse. Rocky losing to a YouTube boxer. One media commentator jokes. That's what it feels like watching Kimmel lose to Gut. Behind the scenes, the panic is palpable. ABC executives try everything. New writers, new segments, new guests, but nothing lands. The audience has moved on. The once loyal late-night crowd now scrolls TikTok until 2 a.m., binge-watches podcasts, or laughs at YouTube clips that feel real, not rehearsed. Authenticity is the new currency, and Kimmel's brand of polished cynicism suddenly feels counterfeit. Legacy media is losing its magic. The shiny sets, the fake applause, the forced live energy at all feels artificial next to a podcaster in a hoodie having a real conversation from his garage. The world's attention span has shifted. They don't want to be talked at anymore. They want to be talked to *, and that's the heart of Kimmel's downfall. His viewers grew up, but his act didn't. What once felt edgy now feels preachy. What used to be clever now feels tired. You can almost hear it in the silence between laughs. The audience isn't angry, just over it. Camera operators whisper that the live crowd is getting smaller every week. Ticket giveaways go unclaimed. Even the applause sign seems to work overtime just to fill the void. The energy that once electrified Hollywood Boulevard now flickers like a dying neon sign outside a forgotten club. In the golden age of late night, Kimmel was the voice of the people. But now the people have changed channels. They've traded him for authenticity, for laughter that doesn't come with a lecture, for conversations that feel alive. And though his name still glows proudly on the marquee, it's only skin deep. When the cameras pan across those bright red seats, the truth can't be hidden anymore. Kimmel's name still glows on the marquee, but inside, the seats are empty. The fallout doesn't fade, it festers. Weeks turn into months, and the whispers inside Disney's polished offices grow louder. Executives gather in hushed conference rooms, voices low but urgent. No one says it outright, but the truth is obvious. Jimmy Kimmel has become a liability. His contract runs until 2026, yet behind closed doors. The question isn't if they'll replace him, it's when asterisk. Someone mutters the phrase no host ever wants to hear. Maybe it's time for some fresh blood. They talk about new faces, younger, hungrier, less political hosts who could actually make audiences laugh again instead of driving them away. Every name that gets tossed around carries the same subtext. Someone who isn't Kimmel. The irony stings like a punchline turned weapon. The man who once mocked others for being out of touch is now the one people whisper about, like yesterday's news. Meanwhile, outside those corporate walls, the internet has already decided who won this fight. Stallone didn't he need a comeback tour, a fiery interview, or a revenge monologue. He just stood tall, said nothing, and let the truth do the talking. His silence became his victory speech. Online fan edits flood social media glowing tributes that play like movie trailers for a legend who never lost his class. One viral video opens with Stallone training in slow motion, intercut with clips of Kimmel's strained monologue. The soundtrack swells as the screen fades to black, white text appearing. Asterisk. This wasn't just a feud. It was the end of an era, asterisk. Another edit shows Stallone walking through old film sets times Rocky asterisk, Rambo asterisk, Creed asterisk. The ghost of his own past greatness, surrounding him like an army. The caption reads, asterisk. Legends don't argue. They outlast asterisk. The digital applause is deafening. Fans post quotes from his movies as if they were scripture. It ain't about how hard you hit, one tweet begins, paired with a photo of Stallone, eyes focused, jaw set against the night. Others write asterisk. Stallone just reminded Hollywood what respect looks like asterisk. It's poetic, raw, and unstoppable. At ABC Studios, the lights burn late into the night. Producers stare at audience reports and ad metrics, searching for a miracle that isn't coming. The decline is irreversible. Viewers aren't just leaving, they're not coming back. The laughter that once filled the studio now echoes like a ghost, hollow and distant. Every night, when the applause sign flashes, it feels more like a plea than a celebration. Somewhere far from the noise, Stallone is doing what he is always done: working, creating, moving forward. No bitterness, no victory laps, just quiet dignity. The man who once fought fictional battles in the ring has now won a real one outside of it without throwing a single punch. The camera fades to a wide shot. The Hollywood skyline glitters under a tired moon. The lights that once symbolized fame now look softer, dimmer, almost nostalgic. From a distance, a lone figure walks away, his silhouette unmistakable, broad shoulders. Steady stride, the weight of 1,000 untold stories carried with ease. Stallone doesn't look back. He doesn't need to. He's already left his mark deep enough for 100 lifetimes. The screen flashes through one last montage. The viral clips, the headlines, the fan-made tributes. This wasn't just a feud, the voiceover says softly. It was the moment Hollywood learned that respect still matters. The tone shifts. Cinematic, final, powerful. The sound fades to a heartbeat. One beat, two, then silence. A single line echoes through the darkness, spoken like prophecy. When Hollywood forgot what respect looked like, Sylvester Stallone reminded them with one silent, devastating knockout. The heartbeat fades again, slow and steady. The screen goes black, and just before the silence settles for good, that gruff, familiar voice cuts through. Soft, steady, immortal. It ain't about how hard you hit. Fade out.